Happy Twintober! All of the videos for the month of October will be based on the classic Universal Studio monsters. This week is Frankenstein. Not the monster, but the mad scientist that created him. This list contains 3 scientists who push the boundaries of science and human decency. Here are 3 real-life Dr. Frankensteins. Soviet scientist Vladimir Dimitrov was a man of many firsts. A pioneer in organ transplants, he was the first person to successfully perform a coronary bypass and the first person to successfully perform a heart and lung transplant in a living animal. However, what made him famous, or perhaps more fitting, infamous, was his successful attempt in creating a living 2-headed dog. It would become one of the most controversial medical experiments in the 20th century. Dimitrov's strange path to head transplant came after a heart transplant experiment on a dog. He began to wonder that if he could transplant major organs like heart and lungs, would he be able to do the same with the brain? After multiple experiments on a dog organ transplants, Dimitrov was confident that he would be able to attach a living second head to another dog. In 1954, Dimitrov and a team of doctors operated on 2 dogs named Shafkat and Broyaga. The smaller of the 2 dogs, Shafka, would be used as the guest head on the larger dog, Broyaga. After both dogs were put under, his teams would go through the intricate and time-consuming process of severing Shafka's spine and exposing the blood vessels of both dogs. Dimitrov also developed a way to keep the severed head alive by pumping oxygen-rich blood into the head to feed the dog's brain. His team painstakingly connected Shafka's blood vessels and windpipe to Broyaga. The experiment was a success. Broyaga could walk, eat, and drink, and Shafka was even known to nip Broyaga on the ear on occasion. Unfortunately, both dogs would eventually die a week or so later due to tissue rejection as immunosuppressants had not been invented. Scarily enough, Shakva and Broyaga were only the first in nearly 20 operations where Dimitrov connected the upper half of puppies to larger dogs. Head transplants weren't exclusively a Russian quest. American neurosurgeon Robert White knew from an early age that he wanted to find a way to transplant a human head to another body. To prepare, he decided to try the operation on a smaller scale by transplanting a monkey's head to another monkey's body for a total body transplant. In 1970, Dr. White and a team of 30 doctors and nurses began the macabre operation by removing the heads of 2 rhesus monkeys. Bit by bit, the team connected the blood vessels, muscles, and spinal cord of the donor's body to the chosen head. After a grueling 18 hours of meticulous work, they were done. What seemed like an eternity to Dr. White, the monkey finally opened its eyes. Immediately, Dr. White could tell that the animal was distressed. It would follow Dr. White with its eyes and show its teeth. The monkey snapped at the doctors and reacted in anger to a bell that the scientists rung to test its hearing. The poor creature was even able to taste and feel. Dr. White had proven that the head not only survived, but it was also conscious. And although the head was successfully connected to the body, due to the damage to the spinal cord, the monkey was paralyzed from the neck down. The monkey survived for a day and a half before dying due to complications of the operation. The experiment, while successful, was met with heavy criticism. Dr. White was undeterred, and until his death in 2010, he continued to seek funding for a full human body transplant. Graduating high school at 15, the University of California, Berkeley at 18, and receiving his doctorate at 22, Robert Cornish was an American child prodigy that firmly believed that he could resurrect people back from the dead. In the 1930s, Cornish was already known for being eccentric after inventing underwater reading glasses, but he would become notorious after he began experimenting with reanimating dead dogs. While employed as a researcher at Berkeley, he experimented non-stop until he finally found a resurrection method he thought would work. His theory stated that dead subjects could be brought back to life by using a seesaw-like device that moved the bodies fast enough to circulate the blood. Simultaneously, the body would be injected with a mixture of anticoagulant, adrenaline, gum arabic, blood, and liver extract. Cornish was convinced that his method would work. So much so that he eagerly began testing on 5 fox terriers named Lazarus 1 through 5 in 1934. He suffocated each dog using a nitrogen gas mixture until they were clinically dead for about 5 to 10 minutes. He would then strap the dogs onto the seesaw and have an assistant move the device up and down while he injected them with his adrenaline mixture. He managed to resurrect the first 3 dogs, however, they soon slipped into comas and died hours later. Lazarus 4 and 5 were the most successful attempts. Although Lazarus 4 was blind and suffered from brain damage after being dead for 5 minutes, he was still able to walk around, bark, and sit. Lazarus 5 was brought back after 30 minutes of being clinically dead and was surprisingly in better shape. Creepily enough, it was noted that the neighborhood dogs showed obvious fear to the 2 resurrected creatures. Cornish was absolutely thrilled with the results and hurried to report his findings to the scientific community. But he soon learned that the scientific community was absolutely horrified by his monstrosities. The controversy grew so great that Berkeley officials were soon forced to pull Cornish's funding and kick him off of campus. Robert Cornish was undeterred and continued to do his experiments privately in his home. In 1947, he got the chance to do what he wanted to do all along: bring a human being back to life. Child murderer Thomas McNaugle heard of Cornish and offered his body to the doctor's ghoulish quest. Cornish's excitement, however, was short-lived. He needed the body immediately after execution, but officials of San Quentin Penitentiary wouldn't allow it due to a fear of a double jeopardy clause if Cornish was successful. The rejection was the final nail in Cornish's resurrection coffin. He would give up the pursuit and live the rest of his life selling homemade toothpaste. Hi guys, this is the Twin Files. Thanks for watching. This was a really interesting video to make, and as we were recording the doctor's Cornish section, some of the neighborhood dogs started barking as soon as we started going on about the experiment. So you might have heard that in the background of that. If you like this subject, we do have our 3 martyr mummy video, so go ahead and check that out. If you like what you see, don't forget to press that like or subscribe button, and don't forget to comment. Thank you.